Hey everybody, what's up? Today's video, I'm going to do a blind reaction to the Bodom After Midnight track, Paint the Sky with Blood. This is the last effort of the late, great Alexi Laiho before he passed away in December of 2020. I'm really looking forward to hearing this. I haven't heard any of Alexi Laiho's material in a long time. I'm a huge Children of Bodom fan, especially their first few albums. So this is going to be cool to hear. Let's check it out. Here we go. All right. Bodom After Midnight with Paint the Sky with Blood. Here we go. Napalm Records, the same people that brought us KK Priest. Wow. Nice. Pretty cool, really. In my opinion, this sounds a lot closer to the older Children of Bodom catalog, especially with the blast beats. All right, here we go. Here comes the shred. Guitar toss. I see he's wearing an Impaled Nazarene shirt. I think he played with them for a while, too. Nice. That's cool melody with the harmonics. Yes, rest in peace, Alexi Laiho. Awesome song. Like I was saying, it has more in common, I think, with the older Children of Bodom catalog, which is really cool because I think at a certain point they changed their style. Like the first, like what Something Wild was the first one, the red one. Then you had Hatebreeder, which was the green one, and then there was Fall the Reaper, the blue album. Hate Crew Death Roll, the orange one, and then there was come on, the name's escaping me. Are You Dead Yet? Yes. And those were the albums of theirs I really listened to. The last one, I think, Are You Dead, came out in 2005. But great album too. But I think that album right there, maybe even Hate Crew Death Roll, they started using like drop tuning. It's not that they didn't like not just like tuning down, but started using the drop tunings. Things kind of changed where they became more of like a Lamb of God kind of influence, or even a Pantera kind of sound, and went away from like the black metal or the melodic death metal sound that they had in the beginning of their career. I mean, they used to have blast beats and this and that. I mean, they still kept the keyboard stuff. In the future they had the orchestra hits and stuff like that, and the crazy keyboard solos, where I thought were really cool. Jenny Warman, but I think that this was really good too, and it was a throwback to the older days. I could tell a couple of things. In the video, Alexi looks like he's sick, and I was in a band that opened for Children of Bodom on their last tour, and they were super nice guys. I didn't talk to them for very long, but they were really, really cool, really, really nice, and very, very professional. But I could tell at that show, standing there, that and watching them play, that Alexi was sick. And he was super skinny, and he looked like he wasn't feeling well. And it's a shame, it's a tragedy that the addictions that he had got the better of him, and the illness that he had, and it's a terrible thing. But it's just a shame. But I think that this effort that he did before he passed is awesome. I have not listened to the entire EP. I think it's a 4-song EP, and this came out in 2021, so it's a couple of years, almost 3 years now. But it sounds great, and it was driving, it was in your face, and that was something that I think that Children of Bodom kind of went away from as time went on. It wasn't like as intense as it used to be. And the lineup on this album, I believe it had Daniel Freyberg, that was in Children of Bodom, that took over for Rupi Latvala. And I think he was in the band Norther too. I don't remember if anybody remembers those guys. But we had Valtteri Viarnen on drums, Mitya Toivonen on bass, Daniel Freyberg on guitar, and Alexi Laiho on vocals and guitar. And that was cool too to see Daniel play a solo, because most of the Children of Bodom stuff, I mean, there was a couple here and there throughout their catalog in the past that had solos, and maybe the newer stuff did too. But as I said, I quit kind of listening to them after Are You Dead Yet? I listened to Blood Drunk, and it was okay. But in all honesty, I prefer the first 3 albums that they had, maybe the first 4, I'd say. And when they had Alexander Kuopala playing the other guitar, it just seemed like it was just different, but different in ways that I liked. It was more aggressive. The keyboard stuff was cool. It had the more extreme metal influences in it, which I liked, more black metal and death metal and stuff like that. But like I said before, this seems to kind of have a throwback to that. And one thing I noticed was it was the white ESP arrow that Alexi plays, his signature model, and I would think that guitar's in standard tuning. It'd be interesting to see what tuning that song's in, maybe, or indeed tuning a step down, or I could be wrong, but that's maybe why it had a sound that was a throwback. But Children of Bodom just had some news about 2 of the members speaking out, saying they didn't know who Alexi was the last few years of the band, and he didn't want to get any help, or he didn't want to sober up and deal with the addiction issue that he had and the health issues that he had. And I think that it was mentioned in another interview that in 2016 that he did get sober for a while, and they were back to playing great and playing on the top of their game. And I would have to say that towards the end, especially when I saw them live, that they didn't play a lot of the songs that they normally play. Like if you watch like the Stockholm Knockout, when they were playing that stuff live, and I think that was right around Are You Dead Yet? They were in really, really top form, and it was really, really good. But when I saw them play, you could tell that they were kind of not pushing the envelope as they had in the past. And I remember the last album they had, Children of Bodom had before Alexi passed, Hexed or whatever, it was supposed to be like a back to the roots kind of a thing. It was supposed to be heavier, this and that. And I think they maybe played 1 song off that album on that tour. And I don't remember exactly what song it was, but they didn't really stick around that one too much. But they didn't even play, I think they played Downfall, of course, is their last song. And there's actually a video on YouTube of the last of Downfall Live fan video with Jaska's speech, because I think Jaska was the one of the founding members with Alexi. And I remember reading too in a magazine about how he didn't have kick drums, so he learned how to do double bass, just like hitting wood with the pedals, which is really, really cool. I mean, growing up in Finland next to Russia during, the 80s, he probably in the early 90s, communism and all that jazz, probably your options were limited. They just probably couldn't walk down to the local record store and get music, or, go down to the local music store and get what they wanted. Stuff was probably expensive, and there probably wasn't very much, gear to choose from. Options were limited. But that being said, I think the reason why so many awesome bands come from Scandinavia is because, number one, culturally, music's still important. Thought is important. Not everybody's not like in some places where they popular culture doesn't embrace art and stuff like that, and education's a big thing. But they probably didn't have a lot to do when it was like dark all the time or daylight all the time, and they probably invested time into an instrument, and that's really cool. And so I think that people that were like music scenes spring up like in Tampa, Florida, the oppressive heat. I've heard that one before. That's what the dudes from Morbid Angel said. Or down in the Bay Area, a lot of just the the working class blue collar places, or the rougher parts of town and stuff like that, really help foster the creativity, because it's a way to deal with your problems, but also too it's like a community thing. But going back full circle, Bodom After Midnight, great track. I'm gonna have to listen to the entire EP. I saw that Children of Bodom had just put out that live album at the Helsinki Ice Hall, and a chapter called Children of Bodom, and I listened to it. It sounded pretty good. Obviously, if they may have gone back and done some overdubs, like most of the live albums aren't live albums, like the Kiss Alive or whatever was. They actually turned the audience up. They tracked it, went back and like touched it up. They had like Bruce Kulick play some of the parts, or his brother Bob, and then they turned the crowd volume up and stuff like that. But I mean, whatever. Every live band does it. Every band that's making live DVDs most of the time will do stuff like that. That's why fan videos are so cool, because you get to really see it for what it is. Especially we're lucky we have the ability to do that. And that's probably why a lot of videos on YouTube get copyright struck. As a matter of fact, I did a video that was like an hour and a half about Children of Bodom, and it took 6 hours for that video to upload to YouTube, and it was copyright blocked because I used the songs off the official Children of Bodom YouTube videos of the songs off the official Children of Bodom YouTube channel, and they're very protective over their intellectual property. And as an artist and a musician, and as they're running a business, I totally understand. It was just a bummer that I couldn't share it with you guys, because it was really, really cool. I put a lot of effort into it, as it deserved. And like I said, I was a huge fan. And as a matter of fact, I've done some covers of Children of Bodom in the past. Like I did Silent Night, Bodom Night on Only What the Light Allows, my latest cover album. And then on the first cover album that I did, Decomposer, I did Lake Bodom. And now I remember hearing Lake Bodom on a compilation, one of those Nuclear Blast or Century Media samplers, like the one that had the Pumpkinhead guy on it and stuff like that. Those were really cool. That's how I found out a lot of bands, like I think Dissection, and also like Moonspell, all that European stuff, even some power metal stuff like Stradivarius. And that's the thing too, Children of Bodom, like the influences that Alexi had mentioned, like Paul Gilbert and Steve Vai. Now I heard of Steve Vai because I'd seen Crossroads, but so I through as my guitar journey, I recognized who that guy was. But Paul Gilbert I had never heard of, and so once Alexi Laiho said Paul Gilbert was an influence of his, I went and got some Paul Gilbert material, and I went to Guitar Center on the day that it opened in Clackamas, Oregon, and I bought the Terrifying Guitar Trip VHS, and I couldn't play anything out of that video for probably 2 years, because Paul Gilbert's one of the best of all time, and Alexi Laiho really carried the torch of and kept the torch burning of guitar playing, because during their time period, playing guitar necessarily wasn't that cool. And I mean, I've stated that before in other videos, but you had a few guys out there like Dimebag, but 1998 through the 90s, playing guitar wasn't popular. As a matter of fact, if you wanted to be a noodler or a shredder or play solos, it wasn't cool. And that's actually how I got into extreme music, was because they still had guitar solos and stuff. So once I got done, but once I was already listened to Megadeth 1 million times, which I could listen to 2 million times. Slayer, the same thing. Metallica, Testament. I was a huge Testament fan. Other people had heavier stuff. like, Cannibal Corpse. It was chaos stuff, but the music was more complicated. It wasn't just like one finger power chord riffs and stuff like that, or grunge music, or like this alternative stuff, and like new metal stuff, which I'm not a huge fan of. There's some good bands, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. So I started listening to extreme music, and so that's why Children of Bodom had such a big influence, is because it was extreme, but it was still accessible to people that liked metal, but it had shredding guitar solos and blast beats and stuff like that, and ultra cool keyboard stuff. So, Children of Bodom was a huge influence, and with all those elements combined, I started listening to stuff like like Symphony X, who I'm a huge fan of, and Michael Romeo is a huge influence on my playing too. And I did a Symphony X cover on Decomposer as well on the first cover album. I did Seal Eyes, but anyway, those were really, really formative years. Huge Children of Bodom fan. I was lucky to meet those guys and open the show for them. And to see that last tour, Alexi didn't look that well, and it's a shame that he passed away. And it's awesome they released the last show, though, that they had done at Helsinki there. And I was really bummed out I couldn't share that video, but I get it. But anyway, you guys have an awesome rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in. Keep subscribing, liking, making comments, all that kind of stuff. Checking out the guitar videos. I hope you guys are digging those. I'll have some more here in the near future. You guys have a good day. Right on.